But no, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. It was a
Yeah,
it was a stressful morning, but my job
yeah.
for the community's been done.
Busy day working on charity.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, cool. I'm really happy that you are able to jump on. It's weird because like I've seen so many of your videos that it doesn't even feel like we haven't ever chatted before, but we haven't.
I know it's crazy 'cause it's been
Yeah.
like it must be like 2 years.
Yeah, I actually dug into it. I went as far as to request my data from TikTok because I was like, when did I start following him? And it was May 31st, 2024. So it's been like a year and a half.
Okay, hey, we're
But I
getting
was like, what review did I start following you off of? And based on that date, I think it was Mad Max Fury Road, or not Fury Road,
furious.
Furiosa.
Great movie.
Right, which makes sense because that's also around the time when I started. I've always posted about movies, but I was switching. I know people love to say like niches, but
Yeah.
um, I posted about completely different stuff before that, and then right around that time is when I started making more content around movies. So it kind of lines up.
No, that's really cool because it's like we're one of the first ones that connected when you were over a movie thing.
Yeah. And what? When did you start posting? Did it start on TikTok?
Yeah, so like I was back in the UK at that time, um, and I'd only just started getting the membership where you can see everything, basically. So I started in January 2024,
Okay.
posting. I'd always been like watching movies, reviewing them for my friends, but that was, I think it was the thing that made,
Wow.
yeah.
What a
So I was
movie
like
to start
really,
on.
because I was really looking forward to that. Kingsman is one of my favorite movies. It's not the best by any stretch of the imagination. But it's one of my favorite. Uh, so seeing how disappointing that was, I was like, I have to jump on.
Yeah. No, I was in the same boat. Was really looking forward to Argyle, the cast, the creators, and then it was. I didn't finish it.
That's not surprising because it was. I should have realised because it was February, but my first two videos were Argyle and Madam Web. So
Madam Web is at least a more enjoyable watch, in
yeah,
my
at least
opinion.
it's fun fact. Yeah, it's fun fact.
It's so bad where it goes into that circular reasoning, and it's like, okay, this is kind of funny.
Literally, I loved it for that reason.
Yeah, it's so good. But yeah, no, thanks for hopping on. Yeah, it's been fun to watch. You've amassed quite a following, and if you started at the beginning of last year, that's cool.
Yeah,
Um,
so I get people reaching out to me, and I say to them like the following is nothing on TikTok
yeah,
because you can have 100,000, and if a video is bad, you'll get 200 views. So it doesn't matter.
right.
Uh, it's better to just build like a core small audience that are gonna watch every video and chat to you about it. And that's what I've done. I've got like 50 or so people that'll either message me on Instagram or TikTok about like a review that I've done.
Right.
And that's all I really care about.
Yeah.
You can have videos blow up and get 4 or 5 million views, but how many of those people are ever going to return? Less than 1%.
Yep.
Uh, so I'm happy if I can just get one or two people go into the cinema when it's a good movie, or one or two people to save their money when it's bad.
Yeah.
Uh, and it's more of just like a passion project. Sort of digressed into writing more recently. Just a website, and that's where I get most of my passion. Video output has been lacking in comparison. I felt like a massive burnout from a video every time. just for the sake of getting a video out there and hopping on trends, which I'd say is a great way to start out. Do I really want to be posting about the best horror movies every single month just because it gets views? Not really.
Yeah.
So I like to think the quality of my video is not better because I only do stuff about what I want to do, trying to get numbers.
Yeah, because it could be exhausting, and TikTok especially is like fickle. People ask me questions all the time about like monetizing and getting views, and it's like you can post a 10-second video and get a bunch of people to see it, or you can post a minute long video and hope it gets monetized, but it's really just like what's your goal overall. And mine is, I have a corporate job and it pays the bills. It's great, it's fine, but at the end of the day, like I want to be making something or talking about something, and I do this anyway with my friends, so I might as well do it
Yeah,
online, I guess.
because that's the thing. People see a number, and so I'm getting 40,000. On paper, you'd think, oh, you can make a living, but that's not the case. Um, I'm completely transparent about like what comes in. I- between $100 and $500 a month, which is great. It pays for the cinema. Um, I'm on like a press list for Dallas. That's like 3 hours drive away from me. So I'm like, it pays my fuel down there, and
Oh,
I can
okay.
get
So when you do a press screening, you're going to Dallas.
yeah. So I'm
Okay.
investing like a lot of time,
Yeah.
staying over sometimes, or driving back after the screening and getting to bed at 1 to then start work at 8.
Yeah.
So it's grind, but it's what I'm passionate about at the end of the day. So
Right.
um, being not having to worry about the cost of doing that because of videos is great.
Yeah.
But in order to make a living, I'd have to be accepting these AI ads that come through to the inbox with like promote our platform, and I'd have to be doing that like every week,
Yeah.
and that's just not for me. So there's money to be made, but if you want to actually have any integrity or build a platform that's actually informative, then
You can't work in any other, like
yeah,
you have to fully commit to it, live in LA and
yeah, literally,
do all
and
the
that's
things.
not for me. It never will be.
Yeah.
Um, and like, there's plenty of movies that will reach you and try and push you into giving it a good review, saying to send stuff through, whatever. I usually just ignore that
Yeah.
because I'd rather not get brand deals or whatever and be true to myself than accept everything that comes in.
Yeah.
Everyone can do what they want with their platform. That's just the way that I see it. For me, when people see a big number, 40,000, yeah, it's great. Worked hard for it. I'd say 1% of those would actually come. People won't realise, but I see the same people that like video or comment on a video, even if it goes viral,
Yeah.
I'll notice the same people.
Yeah.
And even if I've never spoke to them, they should know if they ever watch this or see a video in the future. Like I know people's names that are there from the start, and
Yeah.
that's the good part about TikTok. You can build a community. Things like this happen. Like we're from two completely different worlds on paper,
Yeah.
and look at us now. Like that's what I
Chit
love
chatting.
about it. Yeah,
Yeah, no, it's cool. It really is. All right. Well, big week for movies. Um, I was really anticipating November as a whole, but specifically this weekend. I we've both seen all of them, right? Frankenstein, Die My Love, and Predator Badlands. Yep.
yes.
So great. If you had told me I don't know if you share the same sentiment that out of those three, my favorite would end up being Predator. I would have been shocked, but it is. It's definitely my favorite of the three.
Yeah, so I've got like Frankenstein and Predator ranked the same in terms of stars. I think I'm one of the lucky few. Netflix are so annoying that I've seen Frankenstein on the big screen,
Right.
and I've not gone back to it on streaming because I don't want that experience to be ruined. But I can totally understand if somebody watched it and didn't rate it as highly because watching it on the TV screen compared to what it should be watched on,
Yeah.
it's probably completely different.
You're touching on like my main criticism. I don't know if you saw what I said, but my main beef with the film is just like atmospheric tension. I don't really feel like it's there for this what should be a gothic horror monster movie. Instead, like I even looked at it afterwards because I wanted to see the genre label, and Netflix just has it classified as a drama, which is fine because the movie is kind of just a drama, and doesn't really dive into these other elements that I wanted, and the elements that were there didn't stand out as being bigger than life, like you said, because it's I was watching it on TV in my living room. And I was trying, like, I was turning on my backlights, I was changing the colors in my living room, and I waited till nighttime just to like help the atmosphere because I was excited for this spooky film that felt rather tame
Yeah,
in delivery.
I can definitely see that. But for me, in a way, I'm like glad that Guillermo del Toro has made it his own. And it's not just like the Frankenstein movie that we've seen a million times before. He's actually gone away and tried to do something different. And I can certainly appreciate that fans of Frankenstein and Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, especially, may have gripes with it because it's not as maybe scary or whatever it may be. But for me, I really appreciate that it was split into two separate stories. I do think the monster story is far more compelling than the first half, but I still got what I wanted out of the first half, even if I think the second half was much better.
Better, yeah. What did you think of one of my favorite aspects of the movie is Jacob Elordi's just voice, his storytelling voice, especially walking around the ship. That's what I was most impressed by, honestly.
Yeah, I totally surprised by how good he really is. I didn't think being the monster you would be able to see a vast array of his talent, but like I have it down as his career best by far. Um, to have an audience caring about a Frankenstein monster, I don't think is just down to the writing. It's even under the abundance of makeup, you could see
Yeah.
the and I think in a way, acting via like facial expressions and body language is sometimes so much harder than the delivery of dialogue.
Yeah.
And I think that's where he really excelled. Like being able to feel his pain, just like a visual immersion,
Yeah.
is
I
insane.
I saw someone praise his there's a an image of him online that I saw from when he's just born as Frankenstein, and his eyes just look so innocent and glazed that someone said he perfectly captures like infant eyes. And that alone is like a feat in terms of like wiping your brain portraying this character who's like a brand new fish out of water and doesn't know a single thing. Like someone could easily gloss over it if you don't look at it, but it was good.
Yeah, and the one thing I'm really happy about, I don't know if you use it, but Awards Watch, and obviously it's just users ranking it in their favourite, but he's gone into the top 5 now of supporting actors for the Oscars, and I think that's really deserved. Because I don't think there's 5 performances that I've seen so far that surpass what he's able to capture.
Yeah.
Uh, and I really that he does deserve the nod. I'm happy to see that because I was a bit scared with it being on Netflix that
Yeah.
general audience would mark it down, kind of like highest to lowest. I really enjoyed that on the big screen, and I think it was at like 3.4 on Letterboxd before it came out on Apple TV, and now it's like in the twos. And I was hoping Frankenstein would have the same treatment.
Yeah.
It's gone up,
Yeah.
which is great because for Best Picture, it's not in my personal top 10 of the year so far, but as film making goes and the way that the Academy goes, I don't think there's 10 better films right now. And obviously, we're in Oscar season now. Like November's going to have all these movies thrown at us. But it's going to take a lot to surpass it, in my opinion, with
Yeah.
all the technical craft that the one thing I've said multiple times is that I think it's a technical masterpiece. The makeup, the costumes, and there's actually like a documentary on Guillermo del Toro making it, and I didn't realize shit is all practical.
Oh
It was
wow.
built from scratch. Hearing about that, like, this is mesmerizing. I
Yeah.
know that he has AI, but even to the point of like, if he doesn't have to use visual effects, he's not going to do it.
Yeah.
So even the ship tipping over was all practically done, and I was like, this is
So
amazing.
cool. Yeah. No, yeah, you gotta love it, especially like you said, the craftsmanship was there for sure, and is easy to praise because it looks incredible. Um, yeah, I mean it was good. Didn't like blow me away, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and that's the really good part. Even the people that maybe feel a little bit let down are still not saying it's a bad movie. Still
No.
saying it's good. It's just not quite to the level that maybe they wanted, but they can appreciate it is a good movie.
Yeah. So do you think? Because I've been following it since it was announced, and know that Andrew Garfield was originally, slated. I found myself I never thought there would be a reality where I thought that I would prefer Jacob Elordi over Andrew Garfield. I'll just say that. But I did mid movie go, yeah, I don't know if I could see Andrew doing this.
Yeah. So with the way that movies have been released, I'd imagine that after The Hunt was filming relatively similar time to Frankenstein, and to me, it made me think: did he have both of those scripts at the same time, and he went after The Hunt rather than Frankenstein,
Mm,
thinking that that was going to be his Oscar chance,
mm,
and it's turned out to be the worst decision
kind of a
ever,
flop.
in my point of view.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. The past few weeks have just been busy, and that's just one I did not prioritize based off of probably your review and other people's reviews, where it was like, all right, I can wait for that one.
Yeah, but having seen Jacob and Elordi, I don't think Andrew Garfield could have done a better job. I think it turned out that that was the perfect casting,
Yeah,
and I don't think I would have ever thought that in my wildest dreams.
yeah,
And that's credit to Jacob Elordi.
yeah. He plays a good, sad, yearning monster.
Yeah, and that's all you could ever ask for.
Yeah, it's almost like I recently watched Twilight, rewatched Twilight in the theater, and it almost kind of gives Edward and just his overall like moodiness and yearning, and that is kind of the heartbeat of the story rather
Yeah,
than other elements that you could have leaned into for literal, monsters and horror, but it's the yearning part that resonates with why the story is actually good. Because, I mean, Twilight is Twilight. But I can't deny that I was watching it and I was like, for some reason, I find it to be good, even though, like, on
yeah,
paper and the way that the things that are being said sometimes aren't good. But it's, again, that circular reasoning where it's riding that line between camp and bad. And somehow I'm on the other side of it saying it's good.
yeah, that's the thing. I don't know whether I would be able to say the same thing about Twilight, but I'm glad that people appreciate it more because it's not terrible,
No. It's
but
so wild though to think that Robert Pattinson is in Twilight now, given his reputation and discography. It's crazy.
yeah, I would never imagine that his career would take this trajectory
Yeah.
based on that.
It's really cool though. Okay. Die My Love. What I consider to be the most disappointing of the three. Just because I love that pairing. I was very excited for this pairing. Jennifer Lawrence is probably my favorite actress. Um, and it's not bad. I can recognize when a movie is well made and it's good and its themes are interesting, but the delivery for this movie was not for me. Um, so yeah, I'm curious on your thoughts.
Yeah, I've deliberately held off from doing like a full written published review because for me the issues it tackles aren't necessarily issues that I would ever face. Um, there's obviously a very big focus on postnatal depression, women's mental health, which I think is great. The issues that it tackles and the way that it does it, I also think they're great. Um, I've seen the complaints about it not really being entertaining, being pretty boring, stuff like that. But in a way, should postnatal depression be
Be
entertaining?
entertaining. Yeah.
Um, and from what I've seen from like people's reactions on Twitter and things like that of women that have experienced issues like that, this is the most relatable movie that's ever come out of Hollywood. So for me, at the end of the day, if it's resonating with the people that it's speaking about, then surely it's actually a really good movie.
Right.
So whether it's entertaining or something that anyone will ever revisit, like you've been there, done that, is one thing. But if it's been crafted in a way that resonates,
with
maybe
the
it.
with the person that's meant to. Yeah.
Yeah. So I did enjoy it from an artistic standpoint. I think the performances are crazy good. Um, I've seen all the talk about Jennifer Lawrence, which is well deserved because insane, probably her best. But I also really enjoyed Robert Pattinson. I think as the husband, as because it was never like fully spelled out. It was more like hinted to about his extramarital activities, but the way that he was going through it because
Um,
of her emotions and mental spiral and how it affected him felt really believable. So even if it's not going to be the most enjoyable, it's not a popcorn movie or anything remotely like that. I think it's a powerful piece of art that if you're a prospective parent or you're going through it right now, or it's something you look back on, that it should be watched and consumed and just thought upon. Um, I think this is my personal problem with like maybe film criticism, especially with social media. People are very quick to jump on immediately after a movie, just regurgitate everything feeling without letting it sit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a movie like this, I feel like it's something that should be thought about. And then if you've still got the same feelings, sweet. That's how you feel about the movie. Totally okay. But I've seen people retract statements and stuff like that because they've sat on it and been like, oh, actually, this was really good. They've maybe gone away and watched. I know Kit Laser did a full review of it, breaking it down, and he adores it. And I think that resonates more with like a TikTok audience.
Yeah.
Because there'll be so many people that'll be quick to go on the phone because it's not like bam, 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 bam. It's slow and methodical, and they'll just miss the point entirely.
And it doesn't obey like a concrete story structure. You know, you mentioned the extramarital affairs and the way that they present it, it kind of leaves it up for debate if it's even happening. You can't tell if Grace's character imagines that. And then it almost makes you question, well, is her affair even happening? And honestly, at any point in the movie, you can kind of question, is this actually happening in the story or is it not? Um, and so yeah, it's like a fork in the road of this could be a little exhausting because of how much you have to really think about what's going on. And so yeah, to your point, maybe it's where you sit on it, you're thinking about it, you're mulling it over, and the dots connect more. And I don't know, maybe that's the stage I'm in where I just, even the people I was with, we were like, how do we feel about this? Like, all I
Yeah,
can say right now is that was a movie and I watched it.
yeah, because it is really heavy. 'Cause I was meant to go and watch Nuremberg after it, and thankfully that didn't happen. It was a 2 hour, 30-minute World War II courtroom drama after how heavy that was. Like I felt exhausted on a whole day of physical labor
Yeah.
because I'd done uh, Christie, Predator, and then Die My Love back to back, and it felt like I'd ran a marathon after Die My Love. But a movie that can like take that much out of you, I think there is something special about that. And a lot of like the discourse is very similar to, I don't know if you saw it, but The Mastermind by Kelly Reichardt, which,
The mastermind.
yeah, for some reason it
Okay.
was put as an AMC screen, which the type of audience members that go to those, they want a popcorn movie, and The Mastermind is anything but that.
Yeah.
Um, it was absolutely panned by general audiences, which I think Die My Love would, but the more like cinephiles that know what they're getting into, like a Lim Ramsey movie, will probably love it.
Right.
The Letterboxd scale says the same because the most common rating is 4.
Right.
I think it's at like 3.4, 3.5, which for a movie of this nature where it seems like a lot of people now not really enjoyed it, clearly shows that the silent, not the silent, but the smaller, the majority that aren't shouting the loudest clearly are enjoying it.
Yeah. Because those two people are going to attract bigger than a cinephile base. It's what's going to happen. And so many people, I even saw a couple pretty early on in the film in my screening yesterday left. And I'm like, yeah, this wasn't, you guys didn't know what you were walking into. It makes sense, to a degree, because they didn't know what they were walking into. the plot is a little vague in its synopsis, and if you're not paying attention to what the actual genre and nature of it being an art film is, then you're not going to be prepared for the level of maybe discomfort and, and you know, metaphorical nature of what the film actually is. I described it, if like other films are books, then this film is a poem. Like you have to be putting work into like reading between the lines and like what is this actually saying? What's that saying? Um, so I appreciate it in that sense. What?
That's a really good way of putting it.
Yeah, it's not the same as a normal film, which is cool. I understand the appeal for sure, and the reception from like the artistic community does make me question my feelings on it because I can recognize the discourse. Like, yeah, I'm not sure how I felt about that, but people seem to be loving it. So, you know, is that a disconnect with me or like how am I engaging with this media? And that's always a fun spot to be in because then you're thinking about it even more.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely not conventional, and you're gonna, like you say, you're gonna get a lot of just average moviegoers go in being like Jennifer Lawrence, Robert Pattinson in the movie. This is gonna be great, and maybe expect like a cheesy love story,
Yeah.
and it's definitely not that.
No. No. What did you think? One thing I noticed is that whenever there's a lot of scenes that take place at night, um, in the house, in the forest, and there's like no light source. They don't have any lamps on in the house. Like there's just nothing. And yeah, I wondered, like, did you have any takeaways from that? Is that something you noticed?
Yeah, it was definitely something that where I was like, it's hard to see what's going on, but then like because I start overthinking things, I'm like, every shot is deliberately made.
Intentional.
Yeah, so is this a way of projecting like what Jennifer Lawrence's character's feeling? It's all black, it's all grey. There's nothing really like happy in there. And obviously that's where her affair happens. Is during those dark grey moments. So then it is like we say, is this real? Is this a lucid dream? Like it just had like working overtime, and it's still
Yeah.
not something that I've really like figured out. Um,
Yeah.
because I don't really have the intention to talk about it in great detail. 'Cause like I said, it's not something that's direct at me. I think I ended up going on like a 3.5 star for it because of the enjoyment level, bringing about more awareness into the role. Hopefully, it will have people more open to speaking about their views
Yeah.
and things like that.
And I think your perspective in a review, from a review standpoint, encouraging people to be open minded is relevant, and it like reminds me of earlier this year when Warfare came out and so many people had politicized views of it, and they were quick to just be like, this means this and this is why this movie sucks. And in the same vein, like you coming on and saying, well, I have firsthand experience at this. This is why this movie means this to me, and how again that challenged my view of the film when I liked it on first watch, but obviously like it's a pretty intense movie to watch. Didn't know, for sure how I felt about it, and then reading your review was like an added boost of okay, I understand this a little bit more because I can see it through the eyes of this viewer who's saying, this makes sense to me. This adheres to me. I respect this film. So I think that relates to what you're saying with maybe we're not the audience, the primary audience that needs this film, and if they like it, that counts for a lot of what the film is then.
Yeah, and it's so funny that you've used that as an example because the game that we're going to play later, the letterbox reviews, that was the one that I was going to pick. So I'll have to pick a different one.
God, is my original one still up?
I'm not sure, but
Okay, okay.
it was mainly because, and it wasn't even directed at you per se. The other people that haven't necessarily taken it wrong because everyone's opinion is valid, but it is more for warfare, for example. Like I saw people complaining that really happens. You don't get character development. Um, that there was a romanticization of war and things like that. And at the end of the day, like unless you've experienced that type of war, you wouldn't understand. And
Yeah.
that is okay. But for 99% of the time, a deployment to a war zone, and well, it might be a little bit less than that, but like nothing is going on. You are sat around waiting for something to happen, and it's those 10, 20 minutes of just pure chaos that unfortunately ruins civilian soldiers of both sides. It ruins their lives. It's just like that. And that was the whole point of warfare. There was no romanticization of war. The final sort of frame,
On the family.
that Iraqi family, was the most pertinent of them all because it's the soldiers of both sides aren't there
Yeah.
at, at the end.
Right.
They have caused all this death and destruction, but then they go along their merry way, and it's the civilians that are left with the devastation that they
Yeah.
have to build up afterwards. I think directed by the guy that was on the ground with the help of Alex Garland, who has never really been one to romanticize like American war.
Hmm.
Civil War showed that. I thought it was sensational. I can see the different point of view from people that haven't experienced that. But as war films go, you will never see anything depicted so realistically of modern war as you will with that movie.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
Die My Love is probably the exact same for people that have gone through postnatal depression. And if you haven't, then you're going to think this is boring. You're going to think, what's the point?
Yeah.
To the many that have, this could be the best movie that they've ever seen to explain what they've gone through because they can't.
Predator Badlands. um, I'm trying to think of even where to start. I'm I'm a brief catch up for me. I'm new to I'd never seen Alien, I'd never seen Predator until I've spent the last like 2 months deep diving. As many as I could. I watched Alien 1, Alien 2. I got to Alien 3, started to hate it, and I skipped to the end genuinely. Like I determined that it was not. I made a goal after last year that I was going to interact with media differently because I tried to watch as much as I could last year, probably for the wrong reason, just to like say I was doing it. And so with books and movies this year, I was like, I want to limit what I know is bad. And I know that can also be a weird take, especially, when you're engaging with people's art. But the third one, I just did not. I didn't care for it. So I didn't watch the fourth one and jumped over to the prequels and then went into Predator and skipped a lot of like Alien versus Predator. So I'm new to this world, and I think it's crazy that it's kind of like the original long spanning interconnected franchise that I just like didn't realize, like there's so many movies in both sagas and they're still actively going, which is cool. But I had seen Prey in 2022, loved it. um I think it's so unique. So that was the only one out of Alien and Predator that I had seen. Caught up in the past 2 months, loved some, didn't love others. But I was excited for Predator Badlands, and it has lived up to the hype.
Totally agree. And I, I've never been like a huge fan of the Predator franchise. I think it's, I think the original is great for what it is, but could really take it from there up until Prey. And Dan Trachtenberg completely changed the whole franchise for me. Really liked Prey. Killer of Killers from this year, outstanding. Like, I'm not huge into like adult animation and stuff like that, but I think in the past 2 years with like Transformers one and now Killer of Killers, we've had two like sensational ones. So I was really hopeful going into it, and when I saw Critical Drinker, if you've ever heard of him, start getting he's very like anti woke, and all his like cult following is very much like that. So when I started hearing about humanization, like the Oucher, and how him and all his like fans were kicking off about the Disney-ification of Predator, I was like, I'm kind of excited because like Dan Trachtenberg has gone too far. I don't see him sort of falling off the cliff. And then the still shots came out of Predator from Predator 1, and then how much less scary Deck looks in Badlands. And then I started looking into the plot a little bit more because I like to go in blind. But I was like, I need to see what all this is about. And then seeing the whole point of the movie was that Deck is the runt of the Oucher, and he's meant to look less scary, less intimidating. I was like, they've captured this perfectly.
Yeah.
Like, this is the whole point of the movie. So,
And it makes so much sense because, like, we always see them, the Predators, full mask for the whole film, and then at the end, you have the like face reveal, and this is the inverse where we're seeing his face the whole time, watching him build up to then having his version of the mask, and proving himself, and all the themes that come with that.
yeah, and if you just do the same thing over and over again, what is the point? What are we doing here?
Yeah.
Everyone talks about like sequelitis because there is just endless amounts of sequels where they seem to be doing the exact same thing, and it's like, what's the point? So to go in a completely different direction and have a standalone movie in that franchise is great, because it's like comparing every human and expecting them to be the exact same.
Yeah.
Sure, the Outer one of the Predators destroy everything, but you're telling me that every single one is going to be the exact same?
Yeah.
No.
No.
So to have a complete different look and a complete different person to follow, I think is a refreshing way to reinvigorate a franchise. And at the time of recording this, it looks like it's hitting, because the projections were for it to earn $25 million on opening weekend, and that's gone up to 35.
I was gonna say, I think I saw 37 to like almost 40.
Exactly. So like, clearly
it's gonna have a good word of mouth.
It does, and if it gets to the upper echelon of that new projection, it becomes the highest grossing opening weekend ever, and that's taken into account Alien versus Predator. So clearly it is what audience wants.
Yeah.
And that vocal minority are thankfully getting dragged out, because I I made the statement, the bold one, that this could be the best blockbuster of the year. Um,
Was that
I
before or after seeing it?
after seeing it,
After seeing, yeah.
I've sat on it a little bit. And I don't think it's the very best because I've still got that as F1, but I've got it second. I've got it ahead of Superman, Fantastic Four, Thunderbolts. So
Hmm.
like those big, massive blockbusters, I've got that higher. And
And I don't know if I would isolate the reasoning that it's so good and stands out as one of the better blockbusters from the year is that it recognizes that it is a sci-fi action movie, and there's so many action sequences in the film where they add like one or two things that are so cool that it's like, yes, you're just having fun with the fact that you are a sci-fi movie. Like everything from the monsters that were attacking him to the gadgets he was using to Elle Fanning's top half and legs fighting guys. Like they were being so creative with the environment and the little snake thing that was shooting acid. Like it was just cool and
yeah,
fun.
yeah, and that's what we go to the movies for, is to have fun, right? And then when you've got this like big booming score, like alongside these,
Like
yeah, the epic action sequences,
yeah.
like my jaw hit the floor because I heard the budget was 100 million, which is big for a Predator movie. But
But
when you,
not as big as like
yeah, it's minuscule compared to like Marvel.
250 million, 300.
But visually, I thought it was better than most, if not all,
Yeah.
because I was worried when I saw PG-13 rating. I was like, oh, are we gonna get like watered down sequences? But we still get him ripping out spines. We still get blood splattering everywhere. It's just because it's alien blood and it's green.
Yeah.
That it's a PG-13. That's great. That's
And there's no humans.
yeah.
No,
So
yeah, there's no humans.
I think it's such a creative way to get new people into the franchise, so that when it does go back to an R-rated sequel, you've got new fans that will be of age to watch it next time. I did see the initial script was going to be the Predator fighting Nazis, which I think is really cool. Get Dan Trachtenberg signed up to do that next time. But this was one of the biggest surprises.
Yeah. Wait, you said fighting Nazis?
Yeah, that came out and said that was the original idea. Um,
Interesting. That sounds like it almost would have been more fitting for Killer of Killers.
yeah, but that's like a Predator version of like Inglorious Bastards,
Yeah.
and that to me sounds
Pretty
so.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so hopefully, Pest Power of like the fan base works, because I've seen a lot
Yeah.
of people saying that they want that now. But overall, I had a thoroughly good time.
Yeah. So I'd say my one like complaint slash concern is riding this line where maybe touching on what you mentioned earlier about, it being managed by Disney. There were a few moments that were like riding the line, stepping into like MCU territory. And that's not a knock on the MCU. I think the MCU does what it does, and it's made its own genre as an action, superhero movies. And I love the MCU, so I'm not even knocking it when I'm saying this. I'm just saying I don't want action movies to just become, copy and paste replicas of like the serious action and then the quippy one-liners mixed in. And I didn't even hate when that was happening in the film. I was just concerned that if they keep pushing that, and we keep up this like team dynamic that will be pushing into like the cinematic universe connectivity that some people have complaints with these days. And so with the cliffhangers in Killer of Killers and this film, I'm excited to see where it's headed, but also skeptical that it's going for a very, very traditional, what we've come to know as, like the team up movies.
Yeah, and I see that point for sure. I also can see that like the hint of romance with what is just like an android at the end of the day. I don't
Interesting.
really want to see that
You're like pass.
from a predator. That's not to say that it's done badly. 'Cause it's not just there's not like a cringy sequence. It's more you can see that the banner's going that way. Um, and I can see people's complaints with that side of things. Hence why it's not a 5-star movie. It's not perfect, but the comedy side of things, I actually really enjoyed. I think that was a really good addition. It's not over the top, which plenty of movies do. They can start off funny and then it gets too much to the point it's jarring. You
Yeah.
like get back to the main point. So that's one thing that I really did enjoy. But if I did have one like overwhelming, like let's put pause on that, it was a hint in that like potentially there's a romance on the side.
Romance. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah.
It's funny you say about the MCU because they're like thinking about that final act and the final three kind of made it like a Guardians of the Galaxy
Yes, that's exactly what I was. The
team up.
second they were sitting around the campfire and like the Bud was kind of becoming a part of the group at that point, I was like, okay, this isn't really where I expected. I can see the vision, and yeah, it's giving a little bit of like Guardians Star Wars, which is fine because knowing Dan's record, it's like he's created these two other studio franchise projects that really stand out for being a little bit different. So if this one has a little bit of a return to form or cliche, story arc to it, that's fine. I'm just interested.
I, I think for me as well, it ends there. Like Badlands is that's Deck's story, coming of age story. That's it. And then the next Predator is a different Yowza
Hmm.
on a different like fighting match mission, whatever it may be. Sweet. But if we do go down the route where it's now like Dex our Lord, and we've got our Gamora, and then we've got our Groot, and we'll get a new Rocket in there. That's when I'll probably be like, come on, like, do we need to go down this route?
Hmm.
But for me, that's Badlands as a story alone. Great.
Right. So do you something watching all these films so close together, I feel like there's almost this like golden trophy of a role which is playing an alien android, and like how fun it must be to get that role. Because Michael Fassbender's great, but the one that stands out to me the most is it David Johnson or
Yeah,
Johnston?
in Alien Romulus.
So good. And I didn't even realize that, Elle Fanning was going to have a essentially twin in this. But I've always liked Elle Fanning, but she's never like stood out to me. And in this film, I feel like she stands out, playing the two personalities. The evil one, doesn't really give us much, but the quirky, like over talkative android without legs It's perfect. It was so
Yeah,
good.
and I agree. Like, Elle Fanning's very talented. Um, I think I'll go out and say she's much better than Dakota. Um, and I'm really excited to see what she's like in sentimental value. But I didn't expect anything from this. I thought it was going to be just a by the book performance. Nothing really like stands out about it. But she made that role her own, and it made it a really fun,
Yeah.
like addition to the movie. And exactly what you say with David Johnson and Alien Romulus as the most memorable part. It wouldn't surprise me if people say the same thing about Elle Fanning.
Yeah. No, I was very happy with the inclusion of so much alien lore being a part of this film. Okay. For time's sake, and since we kind of already hit on some of the differences between our letterbox, and honestly, I had a hard time finding one that I disagreed with. Because the reason I started following you anyways, because I thought you, I just felt like I had similar like genre interests, and how you rate things was, it's just very similar. So we can skip
For
through
sure.
that unless you have anything notable.
No, the only thing was you said about one that you agree with. We need to shout out Blackburn.
Black
He's
Bag.
not seen by nearly enough people. The most aura that you'll see in any film this year, and it's just phenomenal. So watch it.
Love Kate Blanchett. Oh, and I did want to call out on agreements. I'm very happy that you still have Sinners over One Battle After Another. It's
I will die on
One
that.
Battle is great, but Sinners, it's not even a question to me.
Yeah, I, I love One Battle, but I could watch Spinners every day, and that to me
Yeah.
makes makes it just that little bit epic,
The cultural impact is undeniable, and
for sure.
rewatchability, all those things considered, it's still so good. Okay, so our game: kill, cast, or collaborate. We'll give three names. Who would you retire? Who would you want to work with? And who would you want to cast in like a dream project, I guess. Um, so I'll go first. Keeping things relevant and upcoming projects. This one is kind of geared around directors who have created or created a project that revolves around creating. So whether that's Frankenstein, whatever. So Maggie Gyllenhaal, Guillermo, and Greta Gerwig.
Collaborate's going to be Guillermo del Toro. Like for me, one of my favorite directors. So it it has to be, with no question, him.
Yeah,
Then it gets more
tricky.
difficult for me. Um, I really do like Maggie Gyllenhaal, so I'll say cast and then get rid of Greta Gerwig.
Sorry, Greta.
Yeah.
Okay, and then this one's more on actors, but your choices to kill, cast, or collaborate: Robert Pattinson, Joseph Quinn, and Timothy Chalamet.
No offense to Joseph Quinn, he's caught here. Um, I think that's a fairly easy one,
Yeah,
just because of how excited I get for his project. Like I'm getting to see Mark Supreme in like a week and a half,
nice.
and I cannot wait. Would I be the same about Robert Pattinson project? Would not. So collaborate with him. Cast Robert Pattinson.
Yep, I'm aligned with this vision. And lastly, um, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sigourney Weaver, and James Cameron.
It's crazy because James Cameron's got the best box office return of any director. He averages over $1 billion per film.
Yep.
But my hot take is, I don't like
You don't like what?
Titanic.
Oh,
So
Yeah, I feel like as a cultural, piece like Titanic, this day and age is it's kind of hit or miss for people.
yeah, but I'm visually like I love Avatar, but the storylines aren't necessarily most compelling. So I'm gonna get rid of James Cameron.
He's out.
I think Arnold Schwarzenegger is in so many of my favorite movies. Not necessarily the best, so I would cast him. But Sigourney Weaver for me is in other category. So collaborate with.
Heck yeah. Awesome. Do
I
you
I've got one for you,
Okay, I'll take
but
it.
mine was more down the direct.
Mm-hmm.
So I did have Guillermo del Toro in there,
Okay.
Denis Villeneuve,
Such a
and
hard
then
name to say.
I, tell me about it, and then Nolan.
Christopher Nolan. Hmm. God. I'm gonna say, unfortunately, I'm probably gonna kill and get rid of Guillermo. And then casting as a director, right? That's how we're viewing this. Yeah. I would say cast Christopher Nolan and collaborate with Denis.
Nice. I thought I'd get the one that I'd come up with would be a hard one.
Yeah. No, that is hard. How would you answer that?
Um, yeah, that's the thing. There's no right or wrong answer.
Yeah.
Because
All
I think
three
they're
are great.
directors.
Yeah.
So
And they all have such a succinct style. I think I chose collaborate with Denis because I think he has done the most diverse, maybe. Maybe that's Nolan. I don't know. That's a hard one.
yeah, it's one that you'd have to think about.
It's a standstill. It's a draw. It's like the three Spider-Man staring at each other.
yeah,
Top of the
possibly.
top, best of the best. Well, awesome, Adam. I really appreciate you jumping on. It's still really exciting to watch where you're taking things, and I super enjoy watching your videos, but more recently, reading. I also enjoy writing, and I think you write very well, and I'm always interested in hearing your opinion. And like you said, like you kind of remember the names who keep popping up, and we've kind of developed this online little relationship, friendship, and it's fun to watch. So yeah, I just really appreciate you jumping on and chatting.
Anytime.
Yeah. Well, best of luck watching Marty Supreme in a week and a half. I will be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, I think they said that the review embargo goes till the 1st of December,
True.
which is
Okay.
so infuriating because I want
Yeah.
to just speak about it.
Right.
But yeah, it's like a crazy week. I'm down in Dallas the whole week. It's like wake up dead man.
Oh, so excited for that.
Can't wait. Wicked. Well, that comes
Obviously.
out that week regardless. Marty Supreme, Testament of Lambert, and Sentimental Value all in the same week.
Wow.
So hopefully that's all the Oscar contenders ticked off by then, and then I can just relax.
Yeah. Take a little break
Yeah,
for the holidays.
crazy season,
Yeah.
and then get back to just more Five Nights at Freddy's, where you can just switch off.
It's so interesting how like similar types of movies come out at the beginning of the year.
Hmm.
Uh,
I think that's the start of December. So it's like a palate cleanser before like Avatar.
Before the Christmas movies.
Yeah. So and can't wait to see what they've cooked up once that.
Yeah. It should be interesting. But yeah, man, thanks again. I appreciate it, and I guess I'll see you online.
Yeah, catch you next time.
Cool. Thanks, Adam.
Bye.